The first thing that people ask me when they buy a cutting board from me or receive it is, oh my God, Steven, how do I take care of it? And that's what we're gonna talk about today. This is a remake, a lot of new information. Let's get to it. This is what an old board looks like, used. This is walnut. It should not be that gray if you take care of your board. It is the bottom actually looks better than the top. I did make this board, it's smaller. This is a giant ingrain board. It looks a little bit richer than what this would look just because it takes in oil more. Here's 3 oils that I use. I'll use walrus oil for the mineral oil. You're hilarious.
I'm being serious.
I'll use Howard's because you can get that anywhere. These are basically food safe oils. Walrus oil you can order on Amazon or through their website, I believe. I'm not sure what stores you can pick it up in. Howard's. And then I started using this recently, Clark's, and you can order that through them or through Amazon. Their mineral oil is a little bit more expensive, but what I love about this is it's got lavender and rosemary extract. None of these companies are paying me to do this. I just want people to know what I use, and this is actually for the wax as well. Clark's has these available. You can buy that through Clark's or get your own. And a lot of times this is what I use to buff my boards with. This one we've been cutting on recently. This is Stephanie's grandma's board, and it needs to be cleaned first. So good cutting board maintenance would be, say I got water on there from tomatoes, vegetables, whatever. You want to dry that off pretty good with the rag. Let it dry completely, and then you would add your oil or your wax. This has not had anything done to it for a while. I'm gonna buff it first. This is 1500 grit, so you're not gonna scratch it or anything. It's literally just gonna help that grain lay down a little bit more. You could go a little bit lower grit, but then you risk getting sawdust on your board, especially for walnut. You don't really want that. I'm gonna do the whole board because this dude needs it. I'm still gonna do the bottom too, just in case. So one thing that I'm gonna start pushing for my clients is if you refinish a board, refinish or wax or oil it, make sure you do the bottom every now and then. That way you don't have the top basically oiled and waxed and the bottom is drying out because it doesn't soak all the way through the board. You really want the whole board treated. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of oil since I got it buffed. And because it is food safe and there's nothing wrong with it, I'm just going to spray it with my hand. And there's really no need to do anything else. Just let that soak in. You can let that sit for a day, you can let it sit for 30 minutes, whatever you want to do. And then when you come back, you can wipe it down. But just look how much more rich that is. All right, something I want to show you. See the end, how it's really dry right now? Because it probably has never been re-oiled or waxed. Look how much nicer that board looks just because you added some oil to it. I mean, it's nice when you buy something and it looks good, but then after 3 months, if it's dried out and it doesn't even look good anymore, you might as well re-oil it. If you do keep your board conditioned, which I do keep our cutting board conditioned, I would not apply mineral oil that often. I would normally only wax it. This board was so dry, it needed some oil. So, people ask me, should you cut raw can you cut raw meats on it? No, I would not cut raw meats on a wood cutting board ever. Get you a plastic cutting board, something that you can run through the dishwasher, because you can't run this through the dishwasher. A lot of people are going to hate and say, yeah, you can cut raw meats on a wood board. You can, I just wouldn't do it. A lot of people ask what to clean it with. My old video I said soapy water, and I used like Dawn and some soapy water. And I think people lather way too much soap on it. One thing that I did start doing different was This is the time in the video where we talk about sponsorships, and I've been working with Pony Jorgensen for a couple years now, and anytime I talk about cutting boards, we're gonna talk about clamps. 3 favorite clamps that I have from them are the Cabinet Masters. They are beasts. They are parallel clamps, but they're known as the Cabinet Masters in the Pony Jorgensen catalog. Second favorite clamp is the Gear clamps, just because there's nothing like it that I've found in other clamps. Boom, boom. They look like this, and they are a beast. Like that. Anyways, honestly, these are one of 3 of my favorites. The next one, you probably could guess it. Here we are, a little weight lift sesh. Pipe clamps. I use these for almost all my glue ups with cutting boards, just because you get a little extra strength. I love the Cabinet Masters for that, but I always don't have the best joints, and these guys will give me the best joints. I really like working with Pony Jorgensen. They're a great company. They have great people, very personable, and better than that, they're easy to talk about because their product is awesome. We got Thieves, which is through Young Living Essential Oils. I don't care if you use Thieves or not. Use something that's food safe. You can use like a lemon cleaner or something if you want to, because lemon like cuts a lot of, I don't know, bacteria and stuff. So you could spray it like that. This is just like fruits, vegetables, whatever you're cutting that's not raw meats. Wipe it down. After you wipe it down, it's still going to be a little bit wet probably. You want to let it air dry. And then from there, because I'm taking care of my board all the time, I don't need to oil it. This one we did need to. I would literally just put a coat of wax. And because this is food safe wax, you can leave it on here heavy. It's not going to hurt anything to leave wax on your board. I'm not going to get it everywhere. I normally just wax the top. Go back and forth. And before I use it next time, I might wipe it off, especially since this has a scent of lavender and rosemary. I'll just wipe that off with like a dry rag or something. It's not a big deal. Or just let it sit. That's just going to help your board last way longer, and it looks way better than it did before we started, in my opinion. This one's going to be shipped out to a friend of mine in California. This one has been treated and retreated a million times. It feels like glass. It's just super slick. But no matter what I was doing, maybe after a few days of use, maybe a week, once a week, honestly, would be totally fine. And this is going to last forever if you're using it once a week. This is only my second one of these, and I've probably sold 50 boards. So you could probably get one of these and use it for a lifetime, honestly. I go through way more wax and oil than your normal person. And there you go. I would just leave it just like that. And then because it's got a juice groove, sometimes I'll get the wax on the side and I'll work it into the juice groove. That's just going to help. All wax and oil does for wood is resist whatever's being put on it. It's going to help resist water or any, I want to say bacteria, but you're not putting bacteria on your boards, but anything that would be on the board that it would normally soak up because it's wood, it's going to resist it. Almost like what you would with plastic. I think that wood cutting boards are actually better and more sanitary than plastic boards, especially if you take care of them. If you're cooking something hot straight from the stove and you want to transfer it to something like basically like a trivet or a charger or something like that, I wouldn't do that on my cutting board. There's glue lines in it. That heat, the wood glue that I use will hold up the heat and water and stuff like that. I still wouldn't put something really hot on it from the stove. If you're oiling and waxing your board a lot, I would have one towel that's dedicated for the oil and the wax. This is obviously mine for when I do stuff. You can wash it by itself in the wash. I would not wash it with clothes or anything. But when I'm ready to remove any wax, it makes it easy, and then you don't have to worry about getting oil or wax on your other hand towels. And how often would you re-oil your board? Honestly, maybe once every 6 months. Once a year at the very most. When I have a cutting board, I probably re-wax the top and the sides once a week. And then I don't think I've ever re-oiled my cutting board because I keep up with the wax. That wax is gonna work as oil almost. The only time you need to re-oil something is when it was super dry like it was earlier. This one was pretty bad. And I've been known to take boards from my friends' houses that buy them from me and re-oil them and refinish them for them. And I'm totally fine with that because I want my stuff to look good in other people's houses, and I want your stuff to look good and last as well, whether you use it or it's a showpiece. Like some people buy boards and they don't use them that much. Still fine. They're still going to dry out, and they still need to be re-waxed or re-oiled eventually. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and also if you think I missed anything in this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know how I can make it better next time, because I really don't think this will be the last time that I talk about cutting boards. It is probably more than half of my income for the year. Yeah, I said that. And a lot of them get shipped out. So maybe we should talk about a business video next and how we can all get rich shipping cutting boards. Or not. Let's not do that.